Good to be here,
Are we
guys.
recording?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
this is our last week of school.
Yes.
Next week, we're all on summer break, kinda.
Yeah.
Because even though Chris is doing summer school, do you feel like summer break is around the corner even though you're doing summer school? Because it's like way more
100%.
chill.
Yeah.
and everything.
Well, you know what the weirdest part is? Is that classes feel more chill.
Really?
Today it did because I consciously told myself, I'm like, I don't care what they do anymore. And I just let them do whatever they want today.
Because you know it's over next week.
I'm just tired. And I was like, you know what? We're going to watch Fern Gully. Has nothing to do with anything we've learned all year. Has nothing to do. I'm not even going to try to pretend like it has
Sorry,
educational
guys.
value.
Yeah.
We're just watching Fern Gully.
Uh-huh.
Have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't. I'm sorry. I've
It's
been left out.
It's a 90s cartoon movie that wasn't Disney, that was like very weird about like construction workers trying to destroy the rainforest and like these fairies trying to stop them.
I never heard of that before.
And I'm like, we're going to watch this. It's got Robin Williams in it. It's pretty good.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's always weird when an animated movie isn't made by like Disney or Pixar.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And animation is easy to get picked up on too. They love picking animation up because not many people
Dude.
do it.
I know. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's maybe where we're heading is to where with AI and everything, I think there's going to be even more animation
Yeah.
now,
Absolutely.
you know?
Yeah.
Did you guys ever see that Black Mirror?
Yeah, I love that
episode?
show.
It's a great show, but did you ever see the episode where the president is like a cartoon character and it's a comedian that
Yeah.
voices the cartoon character? And
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
no. The cartoon's not real. He's like, I'm just voicing it."
Everybody's really
And everybody's like, they turn against him
yeah.
because
Oh,
they
wow.
want the cartoon character to be president.
I
so
remember
bad.
that.
Yeah. You know what? I've actually
Yeah.
never seen that show at all.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like the Twilight Zone.
It's
but with
actually
tech.
like some futuristic stuff that
Okay.
might happen real soon.
It's like the tech version of the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I love the Twilight Zone, dude. That's one of my favorite shows, especially the old black and white one from the 50s. It's awesome.
Huh. I'll
It's
have to
so
put that
good.
in my
Yeah, Black
little
Mirror is
queue.
really good.
Hmm?
It's really good. I sit
It's
there
really
and
good.
binge watch it all the time.
That's where I first saw what's his face on it, Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on that. I love that guy. He's a
Nice,
great
though.
actor.
But speaking of shows, have you guys watched any of the teacher shows?
I tried to watch AP Bio, and here's the thing. Because we're actors, comedians, and we're also teachers, and they're starting to get more views. I don't want to say anything too bad about other shows that are on television, but I'll just say this. I think we could easily make the best one.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna total DJT, Donald J. Trump. And be like, we could be the best.
We can make the best.
Yeah, we totally
yeah.
could.
Some say it'll be.
Nah, we could,
Yeah.
man. We all creative beings right here that could do it for sure. You know what I'm
100%.
saying?
What if that just became what the podcast was about? Just us talking trash about other teacher shows. Not only do they talk trash on their students, now they talk trash on other teacher shows. These guys are just haters.
How many
You know?
teacher shows is it?
AP Bio,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Abbott Elementary.
I love that one.
English teacher, but I think it was very short lived.
Okay.
English teacher, which I saw, it was okay. And then AP Bio, I was not a huge fan of. I only watched one episode though. And then I haven't seen Abbott Elementary.
Abbott Elementary is funny.
I hear it's good. It's
It's
like The
really-
Office.
Yeah,
Right?
it's just real. It's real situations that will happen in classrooms too.
Uh-huh.
Except they got younger kids. But I love it. I don't look at it like that would never happen. I'm like, yeah, it happened
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
It's weird though. Like, you know, I think you really like once you're in. I was doing a video today on TikTok because I'm like, I need the summer break that we've got coming up because I can tell, like, you know, psychologists always talk about how you become who you hang out with. I'm like, I can tell that I'm starting to act like a seventh grader. The other night I was over at my girlfriend's and I got up out of the chair at the dinner table and just left the chair all the way open. And she's like, you're not going to push your chair in? And then it was like, I got so mad that she asked me to push the chair in. Like, and that's like what seventh graders do.
Why? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "Ugh." And then I went and pushed the chair and I'm like, dude, these kids are getting to me.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
also think, dude, just talking to you, like, I mean, I joke about it, but if you listen to Matt, he sounds like a 20-year vet and he's finishing up on his first year.
I'm so
I am
burnt out,
just
dude.
so
Lazy
burnt
to
out.
do it,
I'm
yeah.
tired. I'm
Uh.
just, and it's just for me, I'm like, I really hope, dude, that you just take the summer and only focus on the school stuff, right? That you have to, and then just have as much fun as you can.
I'm going to have a lot of
absolutely.
fun this summer.
Me too.
And we're gonna do sketches this summer too.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
the other
we had
thing we're
to.
gonna start adding to the teachers lounge thing.
Yeah.
And but outside of doing this, which is gonna take up a lot of my time this summer, I'm gonna try to just not think about education.
That's the way it should be.
Because I have to get my contract renewed. Since I'm a first year teacher, I have to get it renewed, and I have to go through, I think it's like 8 people
Really?
to get this renewed. It's so confusing. So I called my contract specialist, and they'll be like, "Have you talked to Herman?" I'm like, "Who's Herman?" They're like, "Talk to Gloria. Gloria will tell you about Herman." Who are Gloria and Herman?
Exactly.
And they're like,
Who the people, yeah.
Estelle is who's going to tell you about it. I don't know any of these people, and they just keep referring me to.
So what you gotta go to, like a evaluation or something like that? Like, yeah.
It's not that. It's I have to get the. Obviously, this is not a super interesting topic for people, but I have to talk to the school, the college that I'm going to. I have to talk to LAUSD, and then I have to talk to my personal school, and I have to get all of them to send everything back in a prompt manner before June 30th, so I can keep getting paid in the summer.
Oh wow.
So it's that's kind of my next thing that I'm
because I
stressing
think
out about.
that's probably one of the hard parts, because if you somehow, there's so many little things that you have to take care of that if one little piece of the paperwork gets messed up,
it stops everything.
then his contract can be terminated, right? Or maybe just lose out of a month of pay or something like that.
Yeah.
And you can just feel that pressure.
That stress. Yeah.
And I know that feeling. And the thing is that's really tough, right? Is you're having to deal right with so many different people where it feels like
outside of teaching.
Yeah, it's like it's in like you hate having. I'm going to take a wild guess. You hate having that feeling that your future is in other people's hands.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't like that. That's the reason why I like to take
Independent.
even my comedy career and acting career into my own hands, because I don't
Absolutely.
like giving it away like that. But it's like, I think the annoying piece of the puzzle is that it's just, there's so many little things. And then today she goes, "Okay, just send me back the C-19 form." And then I go, "What's a C-19 form?" She goes, "Just talk to your college. They'll know what it is." And I called them and I go, "Hey, can you send the C-19 form?" He's like, "I don't know what the hell that is." And then I was like, this is just... Anyway.
that part right there is frustrating right there.
But
Yeah.
we're at the end of the year, and it kind of feels surreal, because have you guys let go? Like, if you're around like the kids now, or you just kind of like, whatever. Yeah, you can eat bristles from a broom.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. Are you guys just kind of letting them?
I still had them do work, but it was a lot more individual work. And so I hadn't completely let go. The last 2 days, because remember, I'm on a block schedule. So I only see half the kids one day, then the other half the second day.
Okay.
So Monday and Tuesday are our last days. Those last 2 days, that really will be, hey, just don't kill each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today I was letting them play basketball in the classroom, and there's like almost 40, but the 8th graders were out.
What?
The 8th graders were out for culmination, and this was a heavy 8th grade class.
Okay.
So I was just and it was girls too. It wasn't the boys. Because if it's the boys, they tear up everything.
How they playing basketball in the classroom?
It was
like
a
hanger
tiny
there,
little-
and they just like
No, it was a tiny little thing, and they were just like lobbing it to each other, like very dainty and girl like.
Mhm.
And so I just was like, it's fun.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because I did a video about, hey, I'm just letting them do whatever they want. And then some kid commented, he goes, like letting them throw a basketball in 5th period on our YouTube video.
That is funny, yo.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I love that when you could tell, like, because, you end up having students that follow you on social media, like the Teachers Lounge.
Yeah.
And you don't know who is who because of the names.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you kind of find out a little bit by like one of them leaves a comment, "Me," with a bunch, right? You're like, oh,
you know who that is.
yeah.
Because they do the same thing in the classroom, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
like-
they're letting you
Yeah.
know, like, oh, you're talking about me.
Oh,
in
yeah,
this.
you say something. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
There's someone that follows me named Muscle Mice, and I have no idea who it is. I don't. Are we supposed to block them?
I don't.
Yeah, I'm like,
Because unless somebody is saying something rude, inappropriate, or contacting me via direct message, I there's too many for me to go through on. Do we have over close to 17,000 on TikTok? Who knows who?
yeah, I just stopped reading
Yeah.
the comments because it's like I just think it's probably not healthy.
Nah, you can't
You
get
know?
caught up in it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it'll just make you start to go like, oh, well, maybe I do have a big nose. And like somebody will be like, maybe one of my eyes is smaller than the other one.
Yeah.
You know?
I used to block them a lot to point out, like, you know what, I'm not gonna block them. It is what it is.
Uh-huh.
But I got a whole bunch. You know how you get the message? They see your message. You got to request it, and you got to open it up. And if you open it up, they see you looked at it.
Yeah.
So I just don't even open it up. But I got a whole bunch of messages from kids, and I know it's kids because they'll put their picture on it. It's almost a cartoon character or something.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
right.
Some
saying?
anime.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna open it up.
So since it is the end of the year though, what are you guys gonna do this summer? I think that's what this episode should be about.
Yeah.
You know, I think like what are you guys gonna do in the summertime now that you actually I mean, I know you're going to summer school, but you're still gonna have way more free time.
You know what's crazy is even with you're doing summer school, you're going 8 to noon, right? So really, it's only 3 hours,
Uh-huh.
that are extra in my life for
Yeah.
a month.
You did. You good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's not
basically,
bad.
I'm just continuing school for the next month till this. We start on the 17th of June or something, and then end on the 17th of July,
Yeah.
something like that.
When do we go back to school? When is the latest?
Like August 15th, something like that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 2 months off and it's wild. I already have anxiety about summer being over.
It
And it hasn't even started yet. Like, isn't that depressing? That's like
you better
sad.
plan your whole summer or it's gonna go really fast.
I know.
You
I'm
better
gonna
plan it.
plan it down to the detail.
Very specific. Yeah.
You know, like I'm gonna time block
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
track everything
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because I have anxiety about the fact that I'm like, well, we're getting ready to go back to school.
hmm
That's like literally what I feel like, because I got to do my TPAs next year. That's like teacher profession.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Something I forgot exactly what it was called.
Yeah. So
No, man, it's just because for you, I think it's just the stress, like that's all it is. No matter, like, you put a lot of stress on yourself, and that's why, like, I'll send you messages too of like, hey man,
Like motivational stuff.
yeah, like
Mikey.
like, hey,
your
celebrate
head up.
the small victories,
Yeah, yeah.
boys.
yeah, don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because I see parts of me in you, and I know that probably 33% of the stress in your life you cause yourself.
I think I do. I think it's, you know what it is? I never have any downtime.
Yep.
And it's like zero. So I wake up 5:45 and then I start praying and meditating, and then I go to school, and then I go to college, and then I go to the gym, and then I do an open mic. I choose between gym and mic each day. And then it's we're doing the teacher's lounge stuff, and then or I'm going over to my girlfriend's. Like I'm never home
Free.
chilling.
Yeah.
Because even on Saturday,
Yeah.
that's the day that I spend with my girlfriend. On Sunday, I go to church, like, and then I go home and meal prep. Like I'm never
Alone.
So it's
Yeah,
been
like alone. There's a difference between being alone and alone where you get to do nothing. You're not thinking about anything.
Relax.
And it's almost, I bet you, and that's the tough thing. So the blessing in this is, thank God you don't have a family as well. Holy God, could you imagine doing everything that you're doing, but also raising a couple kids right now?
Absolutely.
I'd probably be one of those dads that like
You have
snaps.
no-
It's like, yeah, he just drove off Mulholland Drive,
Yeah.
like the wood paneled station wagon. He just like flipped it off of a ravine.
Yeah. Or like, why
You know?
does dad drink so much?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's got to be tough dealing with somebody else's kids. They got to come back home and raise your kids that you have to look at as your kids. You know what I'm saying? These are my kids. Yeah.
Because it starts to give you, the kids that aren't your own are getting your best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just
You
think, I just think, I think if you guys had kids and you're teaching kids, you would probably feel bad, I think, if you get upset at certain kids because you have a child. You don't think that? You might think, man, maybe I got a kid. Maybe I need to chill out. Maybe I need to, not do this or just shut this, do. I'm not saying be a butthole, but you're like, you know what? I'm not going to pay attention to this. I'm not going to give this time. The things you do to protect you, you might not want to do that no more because you have a child. You feel bad if that happened to your child.
Maybe. You know
think
what
so?
it is, though? I'm never really annoyed at one kid.
Yeah.
Usually. Sometimes I am. It's just the constant stress. Like, 40 voices every hour. It's just there's somebody who gets like the
put that down.
Like one person that gets that like that wrath. You know what I mean? I don't really think I get really annoyed at one particular kid. It's just the collective stress of so many. You know,
see that.
Like, dude, I wish we could have like 8 in our class. That'd be awesome.
8 kids.
8 kids an hour would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
I could just have 8. And even that's a lot. Like, imagine if you were a dad and you had 8 children.
You got a lot of kids, bro.
That'd be horrible. But like, I'm like, if we could just have like 8. Like, even to say like 20 an hour sounds nuts. And I got 40, but like.
Actually, I truly believe that the max should be 20 in a classroom.
I think so too.
Because there is a level of communication that happens with 20 kids that cannot happen when you have 40 or 30 or anything above that. Because once you get close, how about this? Once a 2 is in front of it, it's crowd control. And you're going to be dealing with so many, like, it's like you're teaching, but putting out fires at the same time. It's this a constant thing. And you go, my God, that's that. And when you talk about things being then you're wearing on you, then you're going home and having to listen to some guy over Zoom tell you what it's like to teach in the classroom.
Yeah. And you're just like, you know? Like that's
hey guys, like. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna empathize with.
We're gonna talk about empathy and English language learners, and then you're just like, you know, because nobody in education talks like that. The thing that I noticed quickly was like, I was like, teachers act like comics for the most part. I'm sure there's some like weirdo ones, you know, that are just like believe all the stuff. You know, but for the most part, teachers act like comics.
Yeah.
Like there's one, she works in admin, and I was like, yeah, you know, everybody talks about, you know, you need to have like empathy and everything. She goes, she goes, F that. And cause she's worked there for like 30 years. And she's like, it's not my dean, but it's another like, it's another woman that works there. And she goes, there needs to be consequences. Cause she was a teacher for so long.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And so it's like, there's kind of this thing, I can honestly say before teaching, I think a lot of people took advantage of my kindness because I was always really kind to people and gave them benefit of a doubt. And now that I've taught, I don't know if that's happened with you guys, my boundaries are getting better.
Even with people?
With people.
Yeah.
With people. Because I used to let people, I just used to believe everybody. I was like, okay, I want to be a good dude. There was a dude who used to come in the video store I used to work at named Joe Watson. Mm-hmm. And he'd always be like, hey, Matt, let me hold $20. And I would just give it to him. And then I look back on it now, and this dude was like always using me. Like he's like, hey, Matt, my car broke down. So I went behind him with like my RAV4 and pushed him across town.
You do everything for this guy.
Doing everything for people that I barely know. And it sounds good on paper, but then after a while, you're just like depleted. And I think I came into the classroom kind of like that. Like I wanted to save everybody. And then I feel like maybe that's why I got so irritable this year, was because a piece of that was like dying off of me and it needed to die.
Yeah, because you are a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? You are a very nice guy. You do try to look out for people. You're super cool. No one's ever had anything bad to say about Matt.
But that's also not a good thing though.
Yeah.
Because you people should say bad things about you. Like, because you should not be everybody's cup of tea.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's kind of the...
We need to get Matt a leather jacket.
We need to get a leather jacket.
Get in a scar that comes down here.
I need to get in a domestic dispute, you know.
Like, get out of here.
He was so nice, and then he just, you know,
he went crazy all of a sudden.
But yeah, it's that's the thing that I'm getting from teaching, and it's like I think that's why I'm so exhausted, because I also have to change neural pathways in my brain and the way that I do things and the way I do life. Yeah. Like it's not about becoming a mean person, but it is about like being like, no. And I think that's why I sometimes blow up on the kids, because it's like you have that nice guy syndrome thing, and then all of a sudden like you go into rage more. Nice guys have more rage because they're like nice. It's like letting everyone into traffic, and then one person flips you off and then you murder them. You know what I mean? Like it's like repressed anger. Yeah. And so it's like it begs the thing, like, are nice guys that nice? And it's like, I think that I genuinely do care about people, but I think I let a lot of stuff in the past slide when I didn't really want to let it slide.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And that's inauthentic.
I've done it before too.
And it's not, that's just not authentic.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think now, since you with your first year, you're gonna come back with a whole different attitude the
Oh, dude, I'm
next year
gonna be
coming
drill
up.
sergeant.
Yeah, it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
You're gonna start thinking in your head, you go, how can I start doing things different?
Mm-hmm.
How can I have kids on my side? How can I run the class? You're gonna start thinking about all these things.
Number
before you
one,
start.
you're never going to
Yeah.
let kids just walk
Yeah.
into the class ever again. You're going
No.
to make them.
You gotta set your
They
boundaries
have
early.
to line up.
Yeah.
They have to be quiet, and also teaching them to line up according to their rows wherever they're supposed to be seated, so that they're going in and filing in correctly.
I'm not even gonna let them sit where they want to and then change it. It's gonna be structured seating from day one.
That's dope.
and you know why
You know?
I would go with that? Because if you allow them to sit wherever they want, right? When you go to move them around, they're going to act like you took something away from them.
They're gonna
Yes.
act like I set their house on fire.
Yes.
Like, dude, that guy, they're gonna look at you like you're an arsonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're just a
So
terrible
maybe day
human.
one, it's just like, you know what? Look at the list and pair everyone with boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl. If it's like two at a table or something.
Is that what you
like
do?
I'm just saying, like as an example.
Uh-huh.
And then look at that, or or something, right? Or just have people alphabetically, right? And then change things around from there.
Yeah,
Probably
that's what
alphabetically
it's-
would probably be the best.
Uh-huh. And you know, I'm sure that they
I'm going
probably-
off site. I'm like, nah, not y'all two. You over here. You over here. I'm gonna look at the person like, nah, come here. Nah, you up here. Nah.
you
I'll
can
go
get
off
a sense,
sight.
right?
Yeah, go off site.
You
Straight
can
up
get a
sight.
sense of
Yeah.
it. And it's like, yeah, the whole adage, don't smile till Christmas, makes a lot of sense. Like, so the kids did this week, they did like, I guess it was Spirit Week, where they dressed up as a teacher. And there's a bunch of girls that dressed up as me and they just wore jean jackets. And they just wore denim jackets like Mr. Jones. But then there is a teacher that comes into work every morning. And even me, I don't even really want to say hi to him because he just looks so pissed. The dude is taller than, who's taller, you or Zoe?
I don't know. I think Chris might be taller than me for some reason.
But he's taller than both of you guys.
Yeah,
The dude
yeah.
looks like he's like 6'4".
Okay.
He's like a white dude, parts his hair on the side, wears glasses, but when he walks in, his fists are closed like this.
Wow.
Like this. And then one of the girls came up to me and she goes, "Who am I?" And then she just started walking like that. And I knew exactly, I go, I don't know that teacher's name, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Yeah, Mr. blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Do you like him?" She's like, "I don't know." She's like, "I've never talked to him." She's like, "I just see him in the hallways." And another kid came up to me and goes, "Who am I?" Because this teacher, he's probably been teaching middle school for 25
is he
years.
big or something?
He's huge.
Like
Not
fat
fat,
or,
like he's like stoic,
muscular. Oh wow.
and like you see the veins popping out of his arm. Like
And
when
the
I walk
teacher?
past him, I feel like
Yeah.
Gulliver's Travels. But
Like
he's
a
like,
Rambo teacher or something. Huh?
yeah, he's like a Rambo. He's like my
Yeah.
shirt, you know.
Yeah,
And but he's always got his fists closed, and I'm like,
What?
this guy has like
Uh-huh.
hypertension, or he's just trying to not knock out a kid,
that's funny.
you know.
Yeah.
But he's always got his fist closed like that. But
That's nice that people dressed up as you.
yeah, it means they like you. But
Yep.
you know,
You wear jean jackets all the time?
I wear a jean jacket almost every day.
Okay.
That's like kind of like my
Your signature?
I've been doing that though since like 2010.
Oh, okay.
You know, I always wore denim jackets, but they do that. But yeah, so it's like the end of the year, but I don't really look at it with a lot of sadness. Like, oh my gosh, like they grow up so fast. I'm just trying to stay alive. I'm just like getting out of there.
Look at him.
I'm not sad at
You
all.
know, it's for me, I actually kind of feel I feel kind of pumped for next year. Here's why. Because I teach 2 6th grade math tutorial classes. Any kid that does not test above grade level had math tutorial, right? Those kids know me. I potentially already have 2 out of my next 5 classes. I know the kids already.
Oh, that's good.
So
That's a
that to
bonus.
me is the best
Yeah.
because they know what to expect. I know them. They can't get away with little things,
Yeah, yeah.
you know? So I'm really looking forward to that actually. But who knows what the other 3 other, you know, you're going to have one class that just makes you go, this is why I get paid. This is why I get paid, because there's going to be 1 to 2 classes that are just going to drive you absolutely insane.
Yeah, it used to switch. You know that thing that people used to do where they put like a little red ball underneath the cups and you're switching the cups and it's like which cup is the ball under?
Uh-huh.
That's what my classes were like at the beginning of the year with like the crazy class. Because it would be
Yeah.
like, it's 3rd period. Oh no, it's 6th. Oh no, it's 5th. Oh no, it's 1st. Oh no, it's... And then now I feel like my toughest ones And there's a lot of kids I like in both of these classes, but like would be third and sixth. Those were my toughest
already
periods. Yeah, my third period was tough because they don't want to do anything. They collectively, and originally it was 42 kids in there, but I was able to get a few of them out. But they don't want to do anything.
So each period you have 40 kids.
No, it's not exactly so fifth period is 37.
Okay.
My third period was 42, and then I got a couple out. And then first is my one period that's like 25, and it's so easy.
Okay.
I can easily control that class.
Oh, that must feel like it's recess for you because you have so few.
Yeah, it's so easy. They never
Yeah.
caused me any problems. They did at the beginning of the year, but then I figured it out and I was like, no, but it's the other ones are.
Now, do you have
that's
to,
dope.
what, so I know you probably talked about the grading because grades, I already put mine in. Like, are your grades pretty easy to do for the kids?
Yeah, well,
And
this year.
that's a kind of curious. How do you grade yours in drama?
So I would just do acting exercises. And at the beginning of the year, I was like, you get the 100 points if you go up. If you don't go up, you get a 0. And it was literally like either pass or fail
Okay.
because so many of them had so much anxiety. And that's the way I graded this year. Next year, I'm not going to do like that at all. I'm going to be given like, it'll be on a 0 to 100. Be like, okay, you went up there and you just kind of pussyfooted around. Like you didn't really actually do anything. Like you just kind of went up there and you didn't take it seriously at all. Like I'm going to start failing kids next year.
Wow.
Which it's like, it's crazy to fail drama to me, but like
It's
a lot
really
of these
just
kids,
about participation.
Yeah.
it's about participating, but it's like, there's some kids that don't do the assignment. Like I was doing something the other day to where I was like, okay, let's rewrite fairy tales. I go, maybe it's the 3 little pigs. And I go, but they're picking on the big bad wolf. And maybe he has like a pair of Jordans. And then they're like, hey, I want your Jordans. And then he's like, hey, I'm just trying to do my lemonade stand. And I was giving him that example. And then somebody came up and they're like, or I was like, or maybe it's Humpty Dumpty. He falls off the wall and then the whole town eats him because they want brunch. And so giving them these
so funny.
funny ideas to rewrite fairy tales. Or Rapunzel, she lets down her hair and it gets ripped out when somebody tries to climb up it, and so a lot of these kids, they would just come up there and then they would be like, Humpty Dumpty falls off the wall. I'm done. And it's like, you literally use the example that I told you.
Yeah.
And not only that, you didn't give it any layers. You didn't even try.
Yeah.
And
That's
so,
crazy.
but because I agreed upon it and trapped myself, I'd be like, all right, let me give Gabriel 100
Yeah.
for this crappy scene.
Absolutely.
But next year it's like, I'm going to be like way more,
Is it because
Yeah.
they don't want to use their imagination, or they just too lazy, or what you think?
A
It
lot
is?
of it-
Because if it's fun, I feel like they should do it. If it's fun,
well, there's kids that write great stuff.
Yeah.
There's kids that are really like, they're really creative.
Okay.
And then there's kids, I think it's a couple things. I think they want to look cool. Like
they
my
don't wanna
advanced
look
class
stupid.
writes really funny stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like my advanced class, my 5th period. And there's a lot of people in my 6th period who write really cool stuff. But I think a lot of them just want to look cool. And then some of them, I think that they actually are so obsessed with their phones that I do think that it has stunted their imagination because they don't have any idle time to just sit there and think. They're always on their Chromebook and they have to be constantly be entertained.
Yeah.
So I do think that has like screwed with their,
You don't also think that
imagination.
some of them are afraid to get judged or just
well, yeah,
be
yeah.
vulnerable in front or just say things.
Some of them,
Yeah.
but those kids are usually really good writers.
Yeah.
And I'll let them write their scene,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes. And then sometimes I'll be like, sorry, you got to get up.
That's kind of interesting to me is that the kids that are probably going to be the most afraid are probably the most talented.
Yeah.
100%, dude. That's why they're scared because
Yeah.
it means something to them. It's precious to them.
It's
It's
who they
pressure,
are as
yeah.
a person.
I used to hate bombing an audition because it mattered to me. I remember hearing this story that when I used to drive Uber, there's this guy who got in the car and his dude was a total burnout. And he's like, so what'd you do? Why'd you move to Los Angeles? And I was like, oh, I'm a comedian. I'm an actor. And he's like, yeah, you know what's crazy? He's like, my roommate is an actor. He goes, and I dropped him off at his audition and I went in there. He's like, and dude, he's like, I booked it. And I go, what? And he's like, yeah, I booked it. Because he didn't care.
He didn't care. Yeah.
So he was
No big
probably
deal.
so,
Yeah.
and that's not the long-term solution for success to not care. Because like, obviously he's going to run into problems on set down the road if that's his mindset. But
yeah.
there's a certain level of detachment to where like, if you don't care, you just kind of do something.
You just jump in. You just don't care. You just jump in.
Very true.
I mean, we had to tell us with comedy. You know, that's what made us want to get better and better when we stopped caring.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing with acting. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't care about being judged. We just about to let it go. Whatever happens, happens.
I feel like I'm there with my acting now.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to get there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I loved it so much, you know.
Acting it's been good. It's been easy for me, that part. I still battle with that with comedy sometimes, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, what I mean, not so much the acting, but the auditioning is what I mean.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
auditioning, acting is easy, but the auditioning part used to make me nervous. And
Oh, yeah,
now,
yeah.
because I'd want the role so bad, I'd be like, I need
Absolutely.
the money,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And then now I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like if I book something, but it's like that's what I wanted to ingrain in these kids this year. I was like, look, it's about if you can get in front of people. I'm like, I really don't care if you want to be a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
I go, but if you can get in front of people and you can risk rejection and you can risk them judging you, then I go, your whole life is going to open up because you're going to want to talk to a girl or a boy. And if you retreat into your shell when they say no, I go, it's going to be a long, lonely, sad life.
Yeah, I think
I was like, and that's my goal with them is to teach them.
yeah,
you know,
because
how to live their life.
if everything in life, nothing in life that's worth having is easy. Everything that's worth having is uncomfortable.
And miserable to get there.
Absolutely.
It just
hurts.
is.
Uncomfortable. Yeah.
Like that's how you know it's good for you. If
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
easy, hot Cheetos, nah, guess what? It's probably bad for you
Yeah.
100%.
in the long run.
It was easy. Everybody would have it too. Everybody would
Yeah,
have
like
it.
eating healthy is hard. Working out is hard. Doing comedy is hard. Acting is hard. Like this podcast is hard.
You know, it's easy sitting on the
Posting.
sidelines
Smart.
and judging people. That's easy too,
Uh-huh.
right? All these people that don't want to get into the arena,
Yeah, yeah.
whether it's acting or comedy, or how about teaching? Think of how many people, like once you brought up the whole thing with comments, where I go, I'm done with the comments because those people have no idea what they're talking about.
Absolutely.
And you can literally give them straight facts back. Like I tried to even link an article and a woman still called me like a liar. And I was like, I'm literally citing a source about something that is happening in your city,
Yeah.
in your own city, in
Yeah,
your
yeah.
own district.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are a teacher in that district and you don't even know what's going on in your district.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're done here. Or you don't actually even work in
You
education
don't really care.
and you're just
Yeah.
acting like you are.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's like people want to tell comedians what to do. They want to tell actors like, you know, you can't fake. There's people who say Keanu Reeves is a bad actor. You've probably heard that before.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think if that were true, like, okay, maybe his emotional range is not like he's not Daniel Day-Lewis, but if Keanu Reeves was a terrible actor, people would not pay en masse to see
watch
his
it.
movies, to
Yeah,
watch
he has
him.
a huge
He
fan
has
base.
something to offer on screen, and like you don't stay at the top even if you're a dictator, dude.
Yeah.
You have to be good at being a dictator.
Absolutely.
Nobody can stay at the top without having some modicum of talent.
Substance. Yeah.
Like, so when
substance.
somebody's like, oh, that person's not that funny, it might be true, and they usually disappear after a while.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But anybody who has longevity in anything, they're actually good at what they do. It doesn't mean they're a good person,
Yeah.
but they're good at what they do.
But they
Or
also
that
work
they're your
hard at
cup
what
of
they do
tea.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but if they make their audience laugh, then, you know, that's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also people think too, man, especially in stand-up, is like they end up hating the fans that like a certain comic. And it's like, well, how do you know that they wouldn't like you as well?
Self-defeating mentality.
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of comics have very low
It's like-
self-esteem.
Very
know.
and the biggest haters ever, bro.
Uh-huh.
The biggest hater.
The majority of the
Yeah.
time, dude, when a comic is hating on another comic, it's either they hate the comic's material and the fact that it gets such big laughs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or they hate that the comic they feel isn't that good. Maybe that comic doesn't get a lot of great laughs, but they have a huge following. Well, that person did something. So some people focus on the business side. And guess
Mhm.
what? They get good.
Absolutely.
They sell tickets.
Yeah.
Great for them. It's
Yeah.
a business.
Yeah.
It is a business. I
Yeah.
used to hate that when people would say that to me because I was so, you know, the thing. It's interesting that thinking like a business and being like, okay, guess it's time to go teach.
Yeah.
Now look at what we're all doing. We're still doing comedy. We're still acting, but now we're centering all that around teaching. And we're even going to start writing a movie this summer around teaching because it's a business, because it's like we decided to focus on this corner of the market.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know,
we just embracing it. Our circumstances. This is where we at. So we got to embrace it. Yeah.
It wasn't like we were like drawing on like a board, like how can we find our branding? It's just like, this is what we do. So let's just talk about this instead of like being ashamed of it on the side. Because back, you know, in the, maybe around like 2010, maybe even up to 2019, people would try to hide their day job. They would try to hide what it is that they do. What do you do? And it's like, just comedy. And then it's like, how? Your social media, you have like 2 followers.
I never did that.
Exactly. I just saw your whole
I know you didn't, but I'm saying a lot of people
no.
did.
But what I mean is, I remember someone saying that, like, hey, when I was working at Olive Garden back in the day, they were like, tell people you on stage that you used to work at Olive Garden. I go, no, but I work there now.
Yeah.
Why? And then the same thing with teaching. Tell them that you used to teach.
Yeah,
that's so stupid.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't. Why should I be ashamed of it? Because you have to have some air of superiority of that you're better than that now. No, I'm right there in the trenches with everybody else, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the same way. I always told the story when I was a valet. I would talk about that. I'd talk about how like Michael Bolton, like had like crushed up energy drinks in his car, which he did. Al Pacino had wadded up cough drop wrappers, but it was like there's a point. Imagine if you were like doing valet comedy though, like that's all your comedy was about, was being a valet. You know,
it's funny.
It's very hard to be a rock star.
That actually could be a very funny movie when you think of like actual location and shooting it.
100%.
Oh my God, it's just the parking lot.
An overambitious valet. He's got like jumper cables as a belt. He's like can't have any cars dying on the lot.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and he's like, you know, come from a long line of valet workers, you know, great granddad, Henry Ford. Yeah. It's like, did he work for him? He's like, parked his car. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think you gotta own whatever you do, man. Whatever you believe in, you gotta own it.
And that's what
everybody else will respect it.
That's what I would like to teach kids, because it's like being cool is the thing that is going to screw them over and make their life shit.
Absolutely.
Excuse the language, but it's just true.
Growth.
You know, it's going to make their life horrible, because wanting to fit in and belong is an innate human thing that you have to also fight against.
That's what makes you different, because you didn't be cool. You just stepped outside your comfort zone and you went for it.
Because you think of it, like it's. Do you guys remember when you're around the kids that you're teaching? Did you remember what you were like at that age?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was cool. I was that kid that wanted to be cool. I was a cool kid. I don't know about y'all, but I mean, I crack jokes and be stupid.
What about when you were in elementary? When did you become a cool kid? Was it from day one?
6th grade.
6th grade.
Yep.
Cool. So 5th grade, you were like shy and
I was shy,
timid.
Yeah, I was shy, and then 6th grade, I started being cool. I started playing sports, and I was just that cool kid. I mean, I would still crack jokes and be goofy, but cool was like the thing to do with all the guys.
I became popular because I was funny. I was not an athlete. I tried to be one, but I didn't work at it. So it was like, I just found like funny was like a drug. Like I'd freebase the laughs. You know? But there was like,
hide from it.
But there was so much anxiety of not being funny. Like I had to be funny all the time. I was one of those people that had to be on 24/7. Or else I'd be like, I didn't feel
like you disappeared.
Like I disappeared. Yeah. And so it was like, that was very stressful. It was like, kind of like being a childhood star without being a childhood star, you know, because you like have to be on 24/7. Like I was performing all the time. You know, and then that just got like exhausting.
Yeah.
But here's the good thing. You ready?
Yeah.
Now, as an adult, you are so quick. Like you're so good with your words sometimes.
Oh, thanks.
That
man.
a lot of times I go, yo, Matt just said something funny, but it's so quick it goes over your head. Or just the way you're framing something. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, look at the guy, and I feel like Gulliver's Travels. Boom, boom. There's always a little nugget of funny in a lot of the stuff that you say.
Thank you, dude. Yeah,
it just comes out naturally. You know what I'm saying?
But it wasn't natural at first. You know what I mean? It was like basically believed I was a piece of crap if I wasn't funny. So now it's like I'm relaxed,
Yeah.
and I guess it's just the funny state, you know.
Yeah.
Which is nice, you know.
It's a muscle. You know what I'm saying? If you're not doing it, you know,
It is.
It goes away.
I'm glad
I don't think my students get my humor sometimes though. They're like, Mr. Jones is cool, but I'll say something, and a lot of times they don't always laugh.
Oh, because it's word based.
But it's all. But I also like will do like characters or whatever. I'll be like a lot of you guys, and then like because that's what I do is characters, and sometimes they'll be like it scares them more than it makes them laugh. Like if I act like a mafia guy, like the other day I was stolen a kid, I was like, I'm gonna cement block your feet, kid.
Yeah, because it comes off
And
as
then-
this guy's crazy.
Yeah, and then they were like,
Do impressions of them to
There
an
you go.
extreme,
That-
and you're going to kill.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that is true. Anytime.
Yeah.
I've done impressions of other teachers, and they're like, "Oh my!" It's like Def Comedy Jam. They're like shaking in their seats, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah,
it's like it's so animated.
Yeah, because it's
That's true.
them. Yeah, they have to be relatable for
It's
them
like
to be
this.
funny. Yeah,
Well, we have to relate to teachers. You have to relate to the kids with what they're, you know, with what they're doing,
What they used to saying. Yeah, that's so true.
because it's like kid humor, you know.
Yeah, and kids. I mean, sure, like a good. I don't know. I find like more physical humor, and then letting the words flow through that
Yeah.
Yeah.
is so much more important. Where adults, it's usually it flips.
Yeah.
You got to have the solid words and then the
Gotta be
physical
smart.
to go with it.
Yeah.
I used to just be all physical comedy, and then I had to learn how to use my words. But it's like kids do love physical comedy.
Oh yeah, it's because it's easy to understand. That's why they talk about one of the reasons why movies nowadays, or especially the blockbusters, they go, God, they're so milk toast, right?
Uh-huh.
They're more slapstick. Well, the reason why is because they have to sell them to international audiences, and a lot of word-based stuff won't translate
Milk toast
But-
because it's so physical, or milk toast because it's
because they can't have anything that's too made just for an American audience. They have to be very bland.
Yeah.
With everything. The reason why is because it translates better when you're doing a Marvel movie, and then they're going like someone slipping on a banana peel is going to be funnier in every culture.
What
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
something like Super Bad? Did that do well internationally?
No.
It didn't. That was
No,
No, because that was based of here.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They don't get that.
that's kind of the vibe that I want our movie to be.
It has to be broad.
Is like but like
A
Super
broader
Bad.
subject. Yeah.
Super Bad, kind of like that like
I
that
thought
tone.
Super Bad was hilarious.
Super Bad was so good.
The
Like
first
even when they're
20s.
cops and they're like telling like
Oh.
say
Yeah.
when how tall was he?
Yeah,
And then they're like, was he like you or was he like us? She goes, are you asking if he was black?
yeah.
And then she goes, no, he was like you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was brilliant, yo.
it was a
That
great movie.
scene
Yeah.
when they walk into when Jonah Hill is walking into that 7-Eleven for
Uh-huh.
the first time.
Yeah.
That dialogue is crisp. It is so beautiful and so funny where I go, and then you could actually tell that they didn't spend as much time writing the dialogue towards the end because it kind of devolves a little bit into more of a paint by numbers or whatever.
Mhm.
But that first 25% of that movie, I was just straight up dying.
But honestly, they had lines. They improv a lot of that though.
That's what I love.
They-
I love improv.
I love when you have the lines and they take just go for it, take it. As long as you understand the scene and just go for it, I love
Yeah.
that. It's the
Dude,
best.
yes. And so it's like that's what should we I know we're kind of all over the place tonight, but should we tell on the podcast what like kind of the vibe of our movie, or should we just keep that
No.
close to the chest?
Keep
Keep it
that
close to the chest.
But also, you know what though? This goes back
Tell
to
your secrets.
teaching. You
Yeah.
ready? When you say like when you understand this the scene, your character, all that, when you understand the material that you're teaching, you know where you're going and where you're going to end up. That's actually where you can take your time doing things and it becomes so natural, and you can just improv in the moment and have real conversations with kids. People that don't really know their material that they're teaching,
I
they're the
agree.
ones that are going to be like, okay,
They
then
struggle.
they're going to struggle.
That's why I wish I could have taught high
Or-
school sometimes, man, because it's
Yeah.
you can just teach them at a deeper level. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
no,
Well, no,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're more interested. That's why.
Well, yeah, because I try to teach them like a little bit of like Meisner stuff, because it's like I love the craft of acting, but when I try to go there with them, one of the kids goes, "This is gay,"
Yeah.
and then I was like, "Of course it's gay,"
because
Yeah,
they
you
don't
don't
want to think.
understand.
It's not relatable. They don't want to open their
It's-
mind up to think. But they're
no,
too
they
young to think like that, though. They don't want to think.
But
It's-
I know high
too ahead of
schoolers
them.
would appreciate that.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They would get into it. But
Yeah,
it's like with
absolutely.
middle school, it's a very specific age because it's not elementary and it's not high school. It's a very specific, it's this 3-year window
Yep.
of like how to relate to these kids. It's just different than anything
Yeah,
else.
it's kind of.
I learned like 3rd and 4th graders would do anything you want them to do,
Uh-huh.
especially acting wise.
That's when they're fun.
Yes, they're fun. They just like, oh, hey, I'll do it. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? And they just don't care. And sometimes they're the best actors because they just having fun. They're not looking at themselves. They're not judging themselves.
They're not
Yeah.
thinking. Although I was very shy in 3rd and 4th grade. I
Yeah.
did not want to be seen. Like I was
Okay.
I just picture
Okay.
you shivering by the.
pretty much
Yeah,
was. I was
yeah.
like a
And the-
chihuahua in the snow. You know what I mean? Like that's really what I was like. Like I was just, I had a bowl cut and giant buck teeth. I looked like the kid who lived in between walls. You know what I mean? Like I had these giant buck teeth
Mhm.
and like a bowl cut, and I wore Jinko jeans.
By the way, for anyone that doesn't know, there really is a
know.
movie about a kid that lived in the walls.
Wait,
They-
is there really?
Yeah, that's what I thought you were referencing.
No,
Wait,
I
I
just-
remember that.
It was like a called
Yeah.
like Ronald or something.
It was just
like
called
forgot-
Ronald Rated
or
I
R.
Bad
forgot what that
Ronald.
was.
Bad
I
Ronald.
remember that.
Was he a real kid or was he like some sort of creature?
Here, let me see. It's
Dude, you could just make anything in the 80s because the producer
it's
was
gonna
just
work.
snorting coke and he's like, yeah, we'll greenlight it for you.
yeah.
Like you could do anything.
Oh, Bad Ronald. Ready? A family moves into a Victorian house, unaware of a secret room hiding a teenage killer. But he's actually like in the walls.
Let me
too.
see the
Came out in like 1974.
Bad Ronald.
Oh, you know why I
Yeah.
know that movie is because one of the first friends I ever made here in LA wanted to remake that movie because he goes, I have a different way of doing it, and I think I can make it great. That's the reason why I know it.
Bad
Okay.
Ronald. That's such a funny name for a movie. It's only an hour and 14 minutes. I could probably show that to my class tomorrow.
What is it about again?
Be like, we're going to watch Bad
The
Ronald.
guy
for
who
like-
lives in between the
and
walls.
kills
I
people.
heard about that too.
Yeah, it's so funny. They can't focus on a movie though. They can't. That's why I'm like, are we the last generation to be able to watch a movie?
Now, it gets to zoning out so fast. It's not interesting.
Yeah. That
It's
clip.
a focus.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think that we're the last generation that can watch a movie? Because when I turn a movie on in the classroom, they cannot watch it.
I'd probably choose another movie.
Ronald Wilby, a 17-year-old boy with divorced parents. That's why he's killing people. Remember when they'd be like, if your parents get divorced,
Yeah.
your son's gonna like run over children or whatever. Ronald Wilby, a 17-year-old boy with divorced parents, lives with his mother.
Yep.
Living with his first sexual urges, he tries to. I'm just gonna read it.
No, don't.
He
Don't.
tries
Just
to-
say that you're not going to show it. That's all.
He kills the
Good.
girl and buries. Okay.
Yeah.
Having forgot his
Yeah.
jacket at the scene of crime, he confesses to his mother, who decides to hide Ronald in her house.
that is hilarious.
That's a mother's love. I
when-
killed
when-
someone,
when did
mom.
that
And
come
she's
out?
like, just stand between the walls, son.
I had never read the
1974.
plot though until right now.
Yeah, so he assaults someone and kills them. And then the mom's like, it's okay, son. We'll hide you in between the walls.
That is hilarious.
And it's called Bad Ronald.
Wow. Is this a scary movie or actual comedy?
It
Yeah,
says
it's a
horror.
horror movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I wonder how many parents enable the kids that we have.
Well, that's very familiar. Now, a lot of these kids, we got a lot of Bad Ronalds in our class.
A lot of bad Ronalds.
You know, the parents should have left him in between the walls instead of dropping him off in our classroom.
It just boggles my mind because I'm like, I know this isn't the first meeting, like it's the kids at 7th grader and 8th grader that you've ever had with the parents being brought into the school to talk about the kids' behavior. And it's as if the parents show up to go, yes, we will. And then everything just goes back to normal.
You know
That's why I hate those meetings. It's very rare that a kid's academics or behavior changes.
Well, it's weird because it's like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of the parents are so tired that's why they just give their kids an iPad. Because I think it's one of those days, like there are days where, I mean, given my class sizes are huge, but you're just almost like, yeah, just get in your Chromebook. Or like there are times when you're teaching, trying to get them inspired, and then they're like playing on their Chromebook, and I'll go around and I'll close their Chromebook, and then it's
Yeah.
open again, and then I'll close it again. And there's some days where you're just like, you know what? You guys know what you're doing. They're either going to get a 0 or an A. And then I'm just going to let this kid play Missile Command on his computer because it's easier.
But the parents
You
just give
know?
it to them because they don't feel like dealing with the kids.
That's what I'm saying.
They're like,
Like,
"All right, go
they're
ahead."
tired,
Yeah,
so
they're
they're
tired.
just like,
They're over it. Yeah.
you know what? Here, just take this iPad, and we'll deal with it when you're 30.
You know, it's crazy now because these kids are getting iPads.
When you're 30, the
They
kid can't read, right?
Yeah, the kid can't read. He's on
Yeah.
bipolar medication.
Yeah.
You know, which I used to be
ADHD.
on.
But these kids are getting iPads early now. I'm talking about like 3 years old, just to do whatever they want on the iPad. You know what I'm saying?
It's weird. It's
yeah,
like
it's bad.
yeah, the only thing, like the kids, like, yeah, there's something intoxicating and hypnotizing when you give a kid an iPad and they just look at it and then they just stop. It's like it keeps kids from crying. It keeps kids
Yeah.
like when I take away their computers or their phones, they're like,
He
like
took
they
away my
can't-
drug.
Yeah, it's like watching somebody detox in front of
Give
7-Eleven.
me that Chromebook. So I
Yeah.
can, you know.
Yeah, they're
But but these young kids get to learn the Chromebook super fast early. And they just start learning things. They can start looking things up. It's
I
like a
think
phone.
that-
It's basically a phone.
Yeah, I think
what I'm
there,
saying?
It
there
is.
should be
Yeah.
a nice balance between stuff, right?
Mhm.
But if you think about a child, they're almost all tactile, right? And kinesthetic, movement and touch. And they create mental model. If you think about this for a second, why does a kid go over and touch? The world is almost flat to them. There's no like that's why they'll go over chair like whoa that it sounds weird to us, but a kid goes over and goes, oh my gosh, the chair actually comes out. That's new to them. They need to be in the world to create mental models of the world around them.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I do think we are heading towards, we're so addicted to our phone. I really do think that whole thing, what's it talk about in the Bible where everybody has like a chip in them and it's like the mark of the beast, you know? Like in Sweden, they've already freaking got it.
Really?
Like somebody had like a chip. Yeah, there's like a news segment on it and they're opening stuff up and everything. And, you know, like Elon Musk has said that he created a thing called Neuralink, which goes in your head. Which if you've read Revelation in the Bible, it talks about you can't buy or sell without it. And so it's like, it's kind of a weird thing. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of a concept, but we're so addicted to our phone. If you've ever watched the show Black Mirror, we are becoming one with technology more and more and more. Like how often am I on my phone? As soon as I'm done with this podcast, I'm going to check my phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's the first thing I'm going to do. So eventually these kids, this next generation and the generation after them specifically is so addicted to technology and they live in the virtual world so much that eventually the computer will just be you pressing something on your head and then you're just swiping on Tinder in front of you like a hologram. And it's like Ready Player One where they put those suits on and then they can feel, like you said, kinesthetic. They can feel. Have you seen Ready Player One?
A long time ago.
Yeah, like if somebody touches them in the virtual world, they can like feel it.
Yeah.
And then there's shows on Amazon to where if somebody gets stabbed like in the virtual reality and they're wearing one of those suits, they die.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's like we're headed for that
We are,
in
man.
some capacity. I mean,
It's crazy. Like I went to the Clipper Stadium. I think it's called a Dome or whatever. It's all face recognition. You don't have to pull anything out. A credit card, just walk in, face recognition, let you through the gates.
how do they recognize you?
Because you put everything, your credit card information is always attached to your face. So you got to upload your photo and then put your picture up on the app. So when you go inside, they recognize your face. You walk through everything. You already pay for something. You already put your credit card information online already. It knows your face and it just pays for everything. You get a hot dog.
Eventually, there's going to have to be a point where I'm like, all right, I tap out of this game. And
It's crazy.
And because
But
we're just going to keep
honestly,
moving
it's
towards it.
kind of convenient. I don't have to put my credit card out all the time. Apple Pay, I can use my face.
Yeah, it's just like people are
easy.
going to have like hologram children, stuff
Yeah.
like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and it'll be marketed as something like reduce your carbon footprint and have a hologram child. And then, like
Yeah.
people will be like, yeah, reduce your, people will just parrot it and like act like you're an idiot if you don't want to have hologram children. And it's like, no, I want to get my wife pregnant. Like, and it's like, you could just have a
Yeah.
hologram child.
The thing
You know?
I guess I worry about is critical thinking. When you're giving yourself up, when you're thinking to somebody else, you don't develop it in your own
You lose it.
brain.
Yeah.
So I look at it and I go, you know, they say like the computer's only as smart as the person using it. Well, AI is only as smart as the people using it, or Google. Like, great example, ready? Guys, I had to frame a question on Google to get the answer that I actually wanted, even though I Googled specifically what should have popped up. But it didn't. So then I had to go, it was LAUSD, school lockers, lawsuits getting rid of, or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't pop up what I wanted. So I had to change it to this. Did LAUSD ever have any lawsuits against it for searching lockers? Boom, exactly what I popped up.
Absolutely.
And then the correct thing, it came in 2001.
Yeah.
But you know what though? Because so many people using AI, like you're saying, because AI starts to the more people use it, it learns humanity. So eventually what I think is going to happen is people will still be able to be intelligent if they have that like chip or they bridge themselves with technology, and it will just create the neural pathways for them effortlessly. But here's the problem. People are going to become monsters because their character will not be developed. Because if you get something like, if you come to LA when you're 17 years old, that's why childhood stars don't do well, because they're given too much too soon before they're done developing. Yeah. And so it's like, if I came to LA when I was 24 and I just had the world on a platter, I mean, at that point, maybe I'd be okay because I was 24 and I'd already been through a lot in my life. But it's like, if you give somebody a chip or technology, whatever, and then they upload their consciousness to a drive, and then they're just able to know all this stuff, where is the character development and humility that comes from that, from like falling down and like scuffing yourself? There is none. So people will literally become monsters, and morality will probably just go out the window because there's no character development.
It also makes me wonder, at some point, what's the point of needing humans?
There isn't. I mean, yeah, dude.
Like once you get to a certain point of evolution, the AI or the machine, the thought thinking, because if we're talking about consciousness, right? If it gets to a certain point, then why does AI, or we'll call it consciousness, right? But that's now all human things that have been uploaded, so it thinks for itself.
But it takes everything from everywhere, though.
Everywhere, right? Yeah. Then why does it need us? At a certain point, we would actually end up being a hindrance, probably, for them to do, because we have our own morality, right? As human beings, we would probably get in the way of the machine doing what it wants. Because, dude, this is an inferior product compared to what if a machine can make another machine, like we make another human being, right? And they can make something that can last 1,000 years.
Surgeries are already being done by robots, like little things, because it's so precise. You know?
Oh my gosh.
But it's weird to think of like T1000 giving you like an
hair transplant.
But do you ever think
I want to see
a guy that looks like Wayne Newton, and he's just like giving you like a hair transplant?
Dude, that's what I want. A T1000 giving me a hair transplant.
Oh,
boom, boom, boom. Go in every 5 years. Just
But dude, people are going to be the amount of stuff that is going to be at these kids that we're teaching. Maybe not these kids, but the generation after them. Because it is happening so fast. Like, dude, for 2019 was the last year, as far as I'm concerned, of regular Hollywood. And what I mean by regular Hollywood is like kind of like that traditional like auditioning.
Oh my God.
Like
I miss so
going
much.
in. I miss it too, but it's gone.
I miss going in the room. That's like that. Yeah.
Right. And so 2020 till now, look how much stuff has changed with TikTok, with clips, with AI, and it's changing fast, and it changed in 5 years. So in 15 years, because it's just going to be compounding, who knows what these kids are going to be doing, especially in school, you know? I know we got to wrap up here in a second, but it's just, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is summer break is here, and also Terminator 2 Skynet is getting ready to go live. Maybe that's what we should say. So the summer break before Skynet goes live.
Summer before
what? Before Skynet goes live, because that's in Terminator 2.
Okay.
The guy who invents like Skynet, it goes live, and that's why like the machines are going through time portals and trying to kill John Connor. You know,
I don't know, man. I feel like we finna be in stink real fast. It's gonna be all AI robots taking all our jobs, telling jokes, direct the movies.
Yeah,
we
while
gonna
we're
have no
just, like,
jobs.
literally
You know
Yeah.
what? Some
Some
yeah.
sort
sort
of crazy
slush.
that you say that.
Yeah.
George.
One of my neighbors
Uh-huh.
is already uploading. He's never done stand up. He's
Okay.
uploading his jokes into an AI program. He sends me the videos of his jokes. Actually, it looks like a real person saying the joke. But then there's just that the audience kind of laughter or whatever. It doesn't mean that any of the jokes are good,
Yeah.
but we are going to get to that point.
I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
to where you're not going to be able to believe your eyes and ears. It was like in 1984, it says the final command was to not be able to believe anything your eyes or ears heard. Like we're heading to that. Like who knows who said what and who did what? Like
It's a bunch of lies that people believe out here that
Yeah.
they put on social media.
could be like Zoe. Oh, did you hear
Yeah.
that Zoe like dangled an old lady by her ankles over and then like,
Facts. Yeah.
you know, and it's like, did he really do that? And it's like,
Mhm.
I'll show you
It's
the
my
video.
truth.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
I'll show
my
you the
truth.
video
right here.
They just
Yeah.
plugged it in some sort of thing, and it's like, who knows? Did you hear Matt Jones? Like, he went to a nursing home and then just started pushing people out of their wheelchairs. It's like, that really happened? I'll show you a video.
Here's a video.
Here it goes.
Yeah, it's wild.
Mhm.
But summer break is here, and so is artificial intelligence. So, I guess if you guys are teachers, just try to get these kids to think before the robots do it for us.
Imagination.
Oh.
Yes, sir. Peace. We out.